Alright guys, video number 5. Equivalent rates and ratios. So we're still talking about rates and ratios. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to tell me, is 20 miles in 4 hours, is that the same rate as 45 miles in 9 hours? But before we do that, quiz time. Guys, 20 miles in 4 hours, is that a rate or a ratio? What'd you say? Well, you better have said it was a rate because you're comparing two different units. Miles and hours are different units, not the same. How about this one? 35 with $35, or every $35, you can get 5 t-shirts. Rate or ratio? What do you think? Alright, well you should have said rate. Why? Because money is a different unit than a t-shirts. So it's a rate. How about this? In my house, there are 3 boys to 3 girls. Well, rate or ratio? You should have said ratio. Why? Because sure, boys and girls are different types of units, technically, but they're humans. So do you see how we're still dealing with humans? It's still, I mean, I know it's kind of vague, and no, it's not vague. I know you could argue the case, but here there is no mistaking that miles and hours, there's nothing in common. But here we're humans, so blah, 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 this is a ratio, right? Similar units, as opposed to different units. All right, I told you I'm going to quiz you all week. Because why? Because we are going really fast, and I want to make sure you get this. All right. The goal of the lesson, like I said, is to be able to determine when you look at two ratios, are they equivalent? And equivalent just means, are they the same? Are they equal? So let's take a look at these top two. Is 20 miles in 4 hours the same as 45 miles in 9 hours? So the first strategy I want to teach you is this, and this is called the unit rate strategy. We can treat these like fractions. I would simplify these down as much as possible. So what can I do to 20 to every 4 to get it into its simplest form? I'm going to divide it by 4 over 4. And what am I going to get? I'm going to get 5 over 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So at its base rate, its most simplified rate, or let's just call it unit rate, is 5 to 1. All right, well, let's simplify this as much as possible. We're going to buy 5/5. What's that going to give me? 45 divided by 5 is, well, that was silly. That doesn't work, does it? What am I thinking, Mr. Todd? 9. Let's simplify it by 9/9, right? Because I want to get it down to 1. So I'm going to divide it by its denominator. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 45 divided by 9 is 5. Ta-da! Are they the same? Do they have the same unit rate? Yeah, they are both 5 to 1. So this is I would call this your unit rate method. Unit rate method. You're taking them down to their unit rate. Let's try that again here. We're going to take this down to unit rate. That means we want to get this denominator down to 1. So how do I do that? Divide by 7. Right? 7 divided by 7 is 1. 21 divided by 7 is 3. That means $21 for 7 t-shirts. Well, if we were to simplify it, it would be for every $3 you can get a t-shirt. So let's take this to unit rate. This is our unit rate method. Take it to 1. So we're going to divide by 5. That's going to get us down to 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Uh-oh, what went wrong? Well, let's think about that. Are these equivalent? This represents that for $3 I get a t-shirt, but here it says for $7 I get 1 t-shirt. So are those equivalent? No. That's much, much more expensive. And so what we're using here is unit rate. We're taking it down to 1. and the denominator place so we can actually compare it. Because you really can't compare them as they are. 24ths and 45/9, those look different. But we have to get it in down to 1. At least in these examples, that's the strategy we use to really compare them. Otherwise, you're just guessing. And as we know, guessing doesn't work in math. Or maybe I should put it this way. And guessing is not a consistent strategy that's going to bring you success. It's going to fail a lot. And trust me, my son, great at estimating. And so he does a lot of great calculated guessing in math, which drives me nuts. And he does pretty well, but he misses quite a few, because that is not always the most precise way to get the right answer. All right, so try this one at home. 36 t-shirts. 36 t-shirts in 3 boxes. Okay? Is that equivalent to 60 t-shirts in 6 boxes? Try, are those equivalent using unit rate method? Take them down to 1. Oh, you're back already. Good. So you took it down to 1. So that means you must have divided this by 3/3, because that's what's going to get you to 1. So that would have given you 12 t-shirts in 1 box. Here, the only way you're going to get down to 1 is by dividing by 6, right? Because that's 6. So that's going to give us 10 t-shirts in every box. Are those equivalent? Are they the same? Are they equal? No, they're different. But if you were to do guessy-wessy, you might have thought, they're all divisible by 3. I see some 6's. Hey, 3 plus 6 was that? That's 12. 6 plus 6 is 12. I'm going to pull out my numerology cards to see if I'm right. No. That is just guessing. Use the strategy. Try this one. Use your unit rate method. How about this one? 42 flowers in 7 vases. 42 flowers. Uh-oh. I think I'm... in 7 vases. Is that equivalent to 54 flowers in how many? In 9 vases? Are those equivalent? I don't know. So let's use the method I took. Unit rate. Say unit rate. Take it down to 1. Well, I'm going to have to divide this side by 7 to get it down to 1. So divide the top by 7. And I'm getting messy. 42 divided by 7 is 6. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So there's 6 flowers for every vase. I have to get this down to 1, so I'm going to divide it by 9. So I have to divide the top by 9 to make it a big 1. So that is 6. So for every 6, there's 6 flowers for every vase. 6 flowers every vase. Are they equivalent? Are they equal? Yep. Yeah. They're equal. And I didn't guess. I used my strategy of unit rate. Take it down to 1. Well, that's one strategy. So let's look at another strategy. This strategy is a little, I like this strategy. I guess 60 pages. Let's say somebody read 60 pages in 3 days. Okay, and then someone else read 90 pages in 3 days. 90 pages in 3 days. 90 pages in 3 days. This method's a little different. Is it? Oh, whoops, wrong one. In 6 days. All right. So I could always use unit rate, right? I could take them all down to 1 by dividing this side by 3/3 and this side by 6/6. But here you see that this 3 is a multiple of that. So I could just say, I'll multiply by 2/2 to give me 6/120. And now, see how we have the same days? I actually now can compare it. Here in 6 days, I would, if this ratio, no, this rate continued, I could do 120 in 6 days, whereas here it's 90 in 6 days. And because we have the same amount of days, I can actually compare them. Are they the same? No, these guys aren't equivalent. That's ridiculous. So that's my other method. And as you notice, because we're dividing and multiplying by big 1, you're basically using strategies that you've already learned working with fractions, which by the way are a form of ratio. Try this one. And now this is where we start getting into word problems. And really, see, all right, if you look right there, C, I'm going to read that word problem, and it's an issue of just setting it up. Do not do it in your mind. Set it up. So Marcia made 10 bracelets for 5 friends. All right? That's a nice person. Jen made 12 bracelets for 4 friends. Are these rates equivalent? Are they? And again, no guessy. Now, can I multiply 4 by something to get to 5? No. So we need to take them all down to 1. Take it down to 1. All right. Unit rate, baby. Divide this side by 5, right? 5 divided by 5 is going to get us 1, which gets us into unit rate. 10 divided by 5 gets us to 2. So this rate is 2 bracelets for every friend. I wish I was that person's friend. Take this down to unit rate. So for me to get that to 1, I got to divide it by 4. So I must divide the top by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And here it's 3 bracelets to 1 friend. Wow, that's a lot of bracelets. Are they equal? No. This person has given out 2 to each one of their buddies. This one to 3. All right, either way, they're good friends because they're giving stuff away. More isn't better. So here I used unit rate strategy. Let's try another one. I'm going to read this carefully. See, this is how it looks. Read it con mucho careful. All right, Club A. Club A raised $168 by washing 42 cars. All right, here we'll put A there. Club B, sounds like a boring club. B raised $152 by washing 38 cars. Yikes. All right, well, is 38 a multiple of 42? No. So we're going to have to go unit rate. Unit rate seems like a real good buddy to me. One thing I need to mention. Do you see how I'm keeping money on the top, cars on the bottom? Those have to be in the same place. Otherwise, you're going to be comparing wrong things. All right. Well, guys, for me to get this down to unit rate, which means 1 in the denominator's place, I'm going to have to divide by 42. So I'm going to have to divide the top by 42, right? Which is a big 1. 42 over 42 is big 1, our best friend. What's that divided by 42? 4. So they made $4 on each car. All right, I'm going to have to divide this by 38 to get it down to 1, right? Every car. Divide that by 38? I have no idea. Let's see, what do you think? It's 5? It's 4. 4 times that is 32. Carry the 3, 12. There, look at that. 4. So these guys are making $4 for every car. These guys are making $4 for every car. Are they equivalent? Yeah, they are equivalent. Unit rate, baby. I like unit rate. Guys, really, really important. Read it carefully. Set up your ratios. Make sure whatever you have on the tops, you have on the bottoms, you can use unit rate, or you can just see if they're equivalent if one is a multiple of the other. But guys, unit rate seems like a real sure way to go. Wow, I'm like breathing really hard. I must be doing like 80 breaths a minute. What did I just say? 80 breaths a minute? Is that unit rate? Rate or ratio? Come on. Why don't you respond to my email and tell me? Guys, thank you so much. Talk to you later. Or not my email, respond to my YouTube.